beauty review. We got Cupids flying around, you know, shooting people everywhere. Ladies, I hope your Cupids have shot you, cause one ain't shoot me yet. So this year, another year, I'm making Valentine's Day about me, spoiling me, doing everything for me. So why not? I did have a little boo. We were talking about a good 3 months, and then he just ejected himself. He did it to himself. It's never me. Just ladies, look, and even just who are following this segment, like, it ain't never me. I don't think I'm the problem. Like, I can't tell you why a dude just exit stage left. Like, I can't tell you, but somehow they just leave, and I just don't let them come back when they decide to say, oh, you know, I was tripping and I should have took, you know, advantage of the situation. No. But I did have a little boo. I did. And we ain't talked in 2 weeks. So it's over between us. So this year, it's all about spoiling me and making myself happy and doing what's best for me at this point. And here we are, Valentine's Day, and I don't even have a Valentine's, but I got me as my own Valentine. And lo and behold, my girl from Serenity and Beauty has sent me some things for Valentine's Day to make myself feel better. She really don't know about what's going on, but she will definitely hear about it in this story. And she sent me this package just in time for Valentine's Day to make myself feel better, to butter myself up, to relax myself. And she has this whole new line, okay? A whole new line. She sent me a body scrub, and this one is brown sugar body scrub, and it smells so amazing. So this Valentine's Day, I am definitely gonna wine and dine myself in my tub with some sensual, seductive music and relax and not think about that situation, because it's a real jacked up situation. I mean, really, really jacked up situation. So I'm gonna smooth myself over and renew myself with a brown sugar scrub. And it smells so good. And I'm pretty sure that it's gonna make my skin so soft and so smooth. I mean, over the top, to where a dude gonna be like, damn, her skin is flawless. I wanna touch it. And I'm gonna be like, no, you don't deserve to touch it. She gave me this with body moisture. You know, it's the stuff that melts on your skin. I've showed you in my previous video when I promoted the last Serenity and Beauty video. But this stuff here is very soft, and it melts on your skin like butter. Like, just like that. And it is my favorite stuff in the world to use. And I like the way that it makes my skin feel. I love the way that it smells, you know. And I just be walking around here looking like a little Hershey's Kiss, okay? Buttered down to the ground, okay? A brown piece of a rock bread. How does that look? Girl, I'm gonna be up in here playing Pretty Willie. Lay your body down and let me touch your body. Yes, like, he ain't never gonna get to, you know, touch on his body with this Rose Galore body soap, okay? Oh, this smells good. Tish girl, this smells amazing. This one is made with rose clay and rose essential oil. I'm gonna be walking around my house smelling like a little flower, okay? I'm just saying. She done gave me all these good things to, like, you know, smooth my body over, and he ain't even gonna get to touch it. I'm gonna tell you the story of how we got together. I'm not gonna say it was all bad, but it turned from good to bad. And there were multiple red flags that I just, you know, ignored when I should not have, and I should have got rid of him a long time ago. But I tried to give him the time to redeem himself. But, you know, he exited the stage on his own terms. Not mine, on his own. but he is the best friend of one of my friends. So that's how we met, was through a mutual friend. And my friend, you know, at this time, he was planning his wedding and he was getting married, and he invited me to his wedding. And I had approached my friend and I was like, I'm not gonna go to your wedding. And so I wasn't gonna go to the wedding because I had just got, you know, through dating this guy who ghosted me before this guy. And it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth because I was very supportive. You know, I was there. I was in the corner with him when he was going through whatever he said that he was going through. And I just was like, you know what? Let's take a pause from dating and let's get our mind right. Let's get our soul right. Let's get our energy right. You know, just take a step back. So let's not go to this wedding, because I was going to go, but then I ended up changing my mind at the last minute. So when I told my friend that I wasn't going, he was like, no, you know, come to the wedding. He was like, and I'm thinking like, I had told him about that situation and he's just inviting me to that wedding just so I can meet people, you know, mingle and stuff like that. He was like, no, it wasn't like that. He was like, you have been very loyal to me. You know, you have been supportive of the business. You have been here working hard and blah, 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 blah. So I was like, fine, I'll go to your wedding. So I go to the wedding and I was very apprehensive about being at that wedding because I really didn't know anybody besides the people that come to his business and him. So I was like, you know what? I'm texting my best friend, like, I shouldn't be here. I need to go. I'm not in the headspace. And my best friend was like, you know, just leave. So I couldn't just leave because I got there and I already had told my friend, you know, I'll be at his wedding. So I meet up with everybody that I knew and, you know, I'm talking to them and stuff like that. So I leave them to go get a drink at the bar. And here comes this man. He's very tall, dark, handsome. And, you know, he's complimenting me. He's like, oh, you're so beautiful. You're gorgeous, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I appreciate the compliment. So I thank him and I'm like, thank you. And so his friend blocks him because I think at that time, he was trying to get my number. Mind you, I have already told myself, like, take a step back from dating. We don't need to be dating right now to get you right. Get yourself back into the place that you were in before you met this fuckboy or whatever, right? So the friend blocks him and basically, you know, they go on their way. And I was like, oh God, thank God the friend was here because he wasn't gonna quit or whatever. So at the end of the night, you know, when the bride and groom walk out as Mr. and Mrs., here he goes or whatever. And so we're talking and, you know, he's trying to get to know me and I'm like real apprehensive. I'm kind of dry with him and stuff like that. So when my friend and his bride walk out, you know, we're cheering them on and stuff like that. Dude put his hand around my waist. I found that kind of strange. Like, he's really touchy. Like, why are you touching me? I don't know you feel me to put your hand around my waist. And I didn't want to make a scene right then and there and be like, mother, don't touch me. I don't know you to touch me because it's my friend's day and I'm not trying to, you know, make a big scene or ruin anything. So we stand there and we're talking for a while and he's starting to, you know, draw me in and the conversation is like, okay, this can work. And that's what drew me to him at first was the conversation. Like, okay, I like this. I'm still apprehensive about dating and I shouldn't be dating, but you know, let's just see how long this will last. Like, and lately everything has been too good to be true. Like, oh, a dude comes around and he's all nice and you know, want to give you the attention, and next thing you know, he's out the door. So I was like, let's just see how long this is gonna last. Let's entertain it. So I give him my number. He gives me his number and I text his phone because he was like, oh, my phone's dead, blah, 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 blah. So we text each other throughout the week and, you know, we're trying to plan this date and he's asking me like, oh, what type of things do you like? You know, what type of food do you what restaurants you've been at around Houston, you know, stuff like that. And so he said, let's go to Papados. And I'm like, I don't want to go to Papados. I can take myself to Papados at any time. Take me somewhere, place I ain't never been. So he never responded back at that time. And so a week goes by, and here he is. He's texting me again. I'm thinking like, oh, I wasn't expecting to hear from this dude after I said that I didn't want to go to Papados. And in my head, I'm thinking he thinking like I'm just like some bougie, too wannabe, whatever, because I didn't want to go to Papados. I can take, like I said, I can take myself to Papados at any time, but it's just like, take me, like, mind you, we had been talking about places that I ain't never been to before. He could have taken me to experience and stuff like that. So as we're getting to know each other, I come to find out he's a music executive for his own company. He does management for artists, and I want to say for all type of artists. And when I told my friends about it, they're like, what? Like, it doesn't make sense. So I had to literally show them his Instagram page and like what he does. It kind of gave them the concept of what he does, because I didn't understand it at first either until like he showed me that. So we planned our first date, and we decided to go play pool. And so we meet at this pool hall, and this particular location is full, so we wasn't able to get in. And so here's red flag number one. Dude didn't have a car. He did not have a car, and I was really questioning myself, like, why don't this guy have a car? And we meet at this pool hall, but the pool hall was full. We couldn't go in. And he gets in my car. He was like, let's go. So I'm like, where's your car? And he was like, oh, I Ubered here. Mind you, at this time, I'm like, okay, well, maybe he didn't want to drive his car because he lived near downtown. And that's where we were actually in Montrose, at this area near downtown. So he doesn't stay far from the area. So I'm like, okay, if you stay near downtown, like, there's really no reason for you to drive a car around. You can Uber everywhere, because everywhere downtown is not as far. Versus me, I stay on the outskirts. It's some distance. So, we go to the next pool hall. We get in there, and things are cool. We vibing, we talking, you know, stuff like that. And I'm like this very apprehensive person, and he can feel that from me. Like, he's like, what's wrong? You can't relax, and this, that, and the other. Like, a person knows when another person is being apprehensive just by their body language, how they're responding, you know, and stuff like that. And he could tell, like, yo, this girl, she done been through enough. Like, she ain't really trying to allow me to, like, really touch on her, you know. She's like being distant. She, like, that's just how I was with him when we first met. Like, I was real cold. Like, nah, you stay on your side, I stay on my side type shit or whatever. So we go to the pool hall, and we're having a good time though. And after that, what did we do after that? I take him home. And you know, he's trying to get me to open up. And this had been going on all month long. Like, our next date, we ended up going like to Top Golf. You know, things were really good between us. And I was like, man, like, I like this dude. I like him a lot. You know, I'm telling my family about the dude. I'm telling my friends about the dude. Mind you, I don't normally talk about the guys that I'm with to my family. Well, to my family. My friends, I need them to know everything that goes on with me, because they're the first people that I talk to or whatever. So if it's a new guy that I'm meeting, they better know his name, they better know his face, they better know his license plate number and his driver's license ID by heart. So just in case something happens to me, the police better be sounding an alarm looking for me across state lines. You understand? So I had went and told my family about this dude. Like, I liked him that much that I felt like he was that special to tell my family about or whatever. And we go on this second date. We go to Top Golf. We having fun. You know, the dude comes to my apartment to cook for me and stuff like that. And then a month goes by. We made it to a month. Normally, a guy does not make it past a month. I think the furthest they get is like 3 weeks, and they just start showing their cards like, I'm gonna treat you this way and you gonna accept it, and after that I'll be like, I'm done with you, goodbye. So a month goes by, he comes to my house and cooks for me, and you know, he was very generous with it and he put effort into it. You know, we spent the time in the house, we kicked it, we played games, we continued to get to know each other, and then there's this finance thing. There's another flag, his finances. And I picked up on it when, you know, I started to like, you know, pay for things. And I was just like, this is strange. For one, you ain't got no car, and then now I'm paying for things. Which I don't have a problem doing at all. Like I started to pay for more things or whatever. And so I was like, well, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. We ain't nothing exclusive yet. Margaret, don't worry about, you know, his finances. We can worry about that later down the line if we decide to, you know, take this further. Ain't no telling how long we're gonna be dating this dude or whatever. You know, keep your options open. At this point in time, I'm telling myself, like, don't fall for this guy. Keep your options open. And so, like, I'm starting to fall for him more and more and more. And, like, I wasn't kissing on him or anything like that. Like, I felt like he had to earn all of that. And I had told him, like, all the things that I had been through while dating. Like, and he made me comfortable enough to do that. And a month goes on, and I move into my new apartment, and he's there, you know, and I finally allowed myself to like open up to him some more and, you know, be a little bit more vulnerable with him. You know, here's another red flag. You know, I already knew that he had just got out of a relationship in August, but I didn't know how serious him and his ex were after the relationship had broke up. Like, he told me what happened between him and the girl, and it was like a real jacked up story on how things ended with them. But once we started talking and we made it across the month threshold, that's when things just really started to worry me a lot. And then eventually he reassured me of it. But it was just like, okay, we're laying up in my apartment, we chilling, and I'm laid up on him, and I can see everything that's going on in his phone. He's allowing me, giving me permission to lay on him while he's on his phone. So I see the girl name in his inbox, in his message and iMessage inbox, and then next thing you know, I see, you know, his call log, and the girl name is all up and down the call log, and then next thing you know, Instagram message pop up with her saying, laughing my ass off. And I'm thinking in my head, like, how friendly you gotta be with somebody that you supposed to not really give a fuck about no more, you know, stuff like that. And I start to question him, like really question him, like, what's going on with you and your ex? You know, is there something that I need to be worried about? Do I need to back up from you? Like, what are you doing? And he's basically reassuring me, you don't have nothing to worry about. I don't do nothing to make her feel comfortable enough to think that she can come back. Woo, 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 woo. And that still didn't sit well with me, but I was just like, you know what, Margaret, just, it's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it. I was just like, you know, don't worry about it. And next thing you know, my birthday comes up. And, you know, he comes and meets some of my friends for my birthday. And I don't never let dudes meet my family or my friends. Like, I talk about the dudes with my friends, but they don't never meet them. Like, I'll show them pictures of them, but they don't never personally meet them. And because I liked him so much, I was like, why not? Like, he was so genuine when we first met. And he was so consistent when we first met and got together. So my birthday comes around, you know, he meets my friends, and you know, he comes back to my apartment after I'm done hanging out with my friends, and he spent the rest of the time with me for my birthday. And so he had to leave, and I wake up the next day hungover because I obviously got drunk for my birthday. And I'm calling him to make sure he's okay, and he's not answering his phone at all. And I start to get worried. I was like, oh shit, what did I say last night? Oh, what if I said something that I'm not supposed to say? You know, what if I ran him off? You know, stuff like that.
Purchase
and
tracks today.
I did something so ridiculous and so childish.
Purchase
I can own up to it, and it was like I did something that was so insecure of me. But knowing the history of him and his ex and what he had previously did to not make me feel comfortable about it, I went and did something. So I went and checked this peep and see like if he was on his ex's page. Like, have they been together? Is she posting stuff? And next thing you know, I get a message from him. Like, pissed message. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? What did I do? So he texts me immediately as soon as that happened. And so he was like, I've been hearing things about you. So mind you, we only have one mutual friend, and I know my friend ain't throwing me under the bus like at all. So he was like, yeah, he sends this screenshot of the Instagram, his ex's Instagram, and it has my picture under her story or whatever. And he was like, I told you, you know, you don't have nothing to worry about. You know, I don't like repeating myself and woo, 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 woo. And I was like, at this point, like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know what to do or whatever. So I was like, well, is this over? Because I was willing to let it go if he didn't want to talk to me. I'm not about to fuss. I'm not about to fight with you. Whatever the case may be. If you feel like I fucked up, I fucked up. Whatever. Just, what are we doing here? So we ended up talking about the situation, and then I became like even more vulnerable with him and really opened up my feelings for him. And I'm thinking that put us in a really, really, really good place, you know? Despite him not having no car and him not having his finances together and, you know, stuff like that. It was something that I just wasn't ready to worry about right now, because that's such trivial things. That's something that he can work on for himself and get himself with later. You know, he basically came up with the excuse like, oh, I don't want nobody to know what I'm driving. Like, he always dressed like a street dude for somebody to have their own business. And it was just something that I was just like, you know what, Margaret, let's not worry about that. That's petty. You know, we can fix on that later. But right now, let's just see what his personality is like. How does he treat you? How does he make you feel? And I just left it at that. Like, I was leaving that crap alone. But he ended up going missing for 24 hours. And that wasn't his first time doing that. And that really got me to thinking like, oh, you're comfortable with doing that. You know, you're comfortable with allowing me to feel like, oh, you don't want to talk to me. Mind you, that's a trigger for me, because I have had guys do that on multiple occasions where, oh, if they're not interested, they just felt comfortable enough to just stop texting me. And without a reasonable explanation as to what the issue was, or if there was a problem between me and them, you know? And I'm the type of person that is going to be an open book with you about how I feel about you. If I don't like you, I'm gonna let you know that I don't like you through body language and words. Like, I'm gonna let you know clearly that I'm not messing with you. And you're gonna know it. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. But he done went missing a couple of times, and his excuses, they just seem so coincidental. Like, one time he went missing, I think he said like his phone ended up breaking, which his phone actually did break. And, you know, I was very supportive of him, and I gave him my old phone and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, you can keep it. Just pay pay me what you think is reasonable, which I still haven't got paid for today. Like, it was, and then it went as far as like him putting me like in this very uncomfortable situation of meeting his son before we even had anything established. So, like I have said, his phone ended up breaking, and so I had to help him figure out a way on how to keep his business going because he wasn't having access to any of his phone calls. Mind you, he had this busted iPhone, and like he said he could fix phones, but his phone definitely has some technical issues with it when he decides to fix on it or whatever. So like on this particular day, the phone just gave out. Couldn't turn the phone on, couldn't do nothing. So,
tracks today.
Like I said, dude didn't have a car. I didn't have an issue with that because he had never asked me to take him anywhere. It would be, I will always be the one to end up meeting him somewhere, or I just happened to be at his house, and from there we just planned our day together. Or he just happened to be at my house and we planned a day together. So I didn't care that he didn't have a car because it wasn't bothering me, because he would never ask me to take him. Oh, can you take me here? Can you take me there? Can you pick me up from here? Can you pick me up from there? Type shit. So that didn't bother me. But on this particular day, I had to be chauffeured, and it just really pissed me off because I felt like it's always something that just tends to happen with you, but you always have some type of excuse as to why this happens. So the phone ends up breaking. We go to this place to get the parts for the new phone. It didn't work. So the phone never turned on. And so we had to meet to get his son or whatever. So we're in the car and we're trying to think and figure out a way for him to get his phone. So he has to use his phone to get in contact with the mother of his child to let her know, like, hey, it's something wrong with his phone and stuff like that. So I came up with the idea like, okay, my phone is almost paid for. I don't mind getting another phone. Here, take my phone. I will finish off the payment, and I'll finish off the payment and you can have it, and I'll unlock it and you can have a phone, just so we can keep the business running. That way you ain't really losing out on nothing for the rest of the day, and you know like what's going on as far as like your business. And I just felt like it was really irresponsible of him. You know that you are a businessman. Why don't you have a sufficient phone to ensure that you ain't losing out on contacts that's trying to contact you all day? Like it just made me question like what his business practices was too. So I found it kind of strange because I ain't never met a man who conducted business like that. Like I've always met a man who tends to have it more so together than he ever did, than this person ever did or whatever. So while we're out, we're getting something to eat. We wait for the mom to call back or whatnot. So she calls back. We drive over to T-Mobile, to this T-Mobile location to see if I can get me another phone, but the lines are long. So not once did he ask me, was I okay meeting his child? Like, I was not okay with that because I felt like, oh, you allowing me to have this opportunity to meet your child, but we ain't got a title. We haven't established what we were doing at this point, and you're okay with that, and the mom is okay with that. So we're at this T-Mobile, and the mom drives up and drops him off. And I know she had to see me get in my car, and not once did she question, who is that? Who are you with? Who is my son about to be around? Blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know if it's just a protective person in me. I would have wanted to know these questions, but she never once got out the car to say, hi, how are you? I'm X, Y, and Z's mom, blah, 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 blah. I just want to get a feel of you, make sure you're fine when okay to be around my son. We just got in the car and we left, and we had to go back to the place to drop his phone off to get it fixed, right? We had to do all of that. And And then we still ended up going to T-Mobile because I still had to give him his phone. So when we were done, like, with the phone situation, I'm like, okay, what are y'all about to do? Because I wasn't trying to interrupt their father-son time. I felt like I didn't deserve that. I felt like it wasn't my time to be in that picture, just for the simple fact of, oh, we ain't got no title. You're not my boyfriend. I'm not your girlfriend. We not, we're not nothing yet. We're still trying to build a rapport on each other at this point. And so he couldn't figure it out. He didn't say, well, take us back to my house. He was just like, well, I don't know. Like, he didn't say, well, drop us off here so I can, take him to have fun. He just couldn't come up with anything for him and his son to do. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go back to my house. I was already tired, from driving all over Houston. And I was just like, you know what? Whatever. Let's just go back to my house. We go back to my house and stuff like that. The kid is at my house. I let the kid hog my TV with YouTube. I let him play my video game. He's downloading stuff on my game. I told him do whatever he wants. It was just a strange day. Like, really strange for me, because I had never been put in that situation before. Like I said, I've dated guys who have children, but not once was meeting their child on the table at all. Like, I don't expect to meet a guy's child until after we become an item. Like, I just feel like that's just standard across the board. Like, you still getting to know me, and you allowing me to meet your kid, and then what if we don't work out while dating? Now I built a trust with your child, and now we ain't together. Now they don't, so it just felt weird to me. It just felt so strange. So I brought it up to him, and he was just like, even if we had a title, you still would have met him, and what if we didn't be together then? And I'm just like that doesn't make any sense. Like, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. And I was like, well, why did you allow me to meet him? And he was like, I just wanted to see how we would interact with him. And I was just like, that ain't cool. I don't appreciate you doing that, because it didn't make me feel good. Like, I felt like I was not entitled to that position yet. Like, I felt like I didn't deserve that position yet. Like, we don't even have a title. We still trying to figure out what we got going on. And that just made me feel some type of way. Like, that was another flag for me, because it was just like, you put me in a position for me to, like, you blocked me into a corner. Like, I couldn't say, no, your kid can't get in my car, and no, we can't finish running these errands. Like, you put me in this position to just kind of like keep my mouth shut and don't ruin the day. But it's just like, not once did he ask me, how do you feel about this situation? How do you feel about meeting my kid? Because I have to get him today. He didn't say, well, we'll figure out the phone situation another day, or can you figure out the phone situation without me and then bring the phone when you're done? And from there, like, nothing. Like, he was not coming up with these grand ideas to, like, help me get out of this situation, like, at all. Like, there was nothing. And I just was so freaking uncomfortable, to the point of just like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. It was a number of things that just started to take a turn. And the biggest one was, he allowed me to go missing for 6 days. For 6 days. And if you go missing for 24 hours and I'm really interested in you, it's going to be a huge problem. But come day 6, I had to be the one to break the ice, And that was really tough for me, because it's like, I always have to be the bigger person. I always have to be the one to figure out what the problem is and how to fix it and how to bring up a solution that can work for this dating thing, So I call him up and I'm like, hey, let's meet up. Let's go here to eat and talk, because I need to talk to you. And so he brings my Christmas gift, which I got some lovely designer Jimmy Choo heels. Yes, that was my Christmas gift. He brings does make me happy. But at the same time, I'm still pissed that you allowed me to go missing for 6 days and we're supposed to be dating. Mind you, I'm really not talking to anybody else. Like, I have other people to talk to me and entertain me, but I'm not as interested in them as I am in him or whatnot. Don't ask me what makes him so special if he ain't got no car and his finances ain't together. But the dude, he just had this finesse with how he made me feel, and it made me feel good as a woman to like feel like that. It's something that I haven't felt in a long time. So we talking, and I'm telling him like, dude, you let 6 days go by, and then he want to put the blame on me, like, oh, you should have hit me up. And I'm like, dude, like, I always hit you up. Like, this ain't no tit for tat type thing. And then on top of that, I had to let him know, like, I was actually testing you to see like if you were going to hit me up. And he was like, don't test me. I'm like, but you tested me. You put me in this position where I was very uncomfortable meeting your son under those circumstances, and never once did you ask me, was I okay with that? I was like, no, you tested me first. So guess what? If I get tested, you're gonna get tested too. We talked about that situation and we came to the conclusion like, okay, we won't do that. I won't go missing. I'll call you, I'll hit you up. You call me, you hit me up. It ain't about who hitting who up first or whatever the case may be. Then it goes into he's becoming unreliable. And I can't stand an unreliable ass person. I hate it to a T, okay? I cannot stand unreliable people at all. I hate them because I am the most reliable person in anybody's life, okay? In my friend's life, in my family's life, if they need me, and to some strangers too, if I allow them that, So if you ask me for anything, I'm gonna tell you yeah, and I'm gonna deliver if I say yeah. So it done got to the point of where, he had been working. So work started to pick up for his business, which I'm okay with. I work too, and I'm a full-time student. So the little window of time that I do have, I'm gonna make it available to whoever wants it. And most of the time it goes to my best friend. I love you. But in this instance, because I was feeling him so much, I would give him the window if my best friend hadn't called, to make plans or anything like that. So I got this small window. So I'm expecting him to make his small window work too. So he worked late at night. He's at the studio with his artist, and he's telling me, yeah, I'm gonna be here for 1 or 2 hours, and I'm gonna come spend time with you, and this, that, and the other. And this has happened on multiple occasions where he would make these plans with me, and I'm sitting up waiting for him at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he never shows up. And it done got to the point where I was just like, you know what, I'm fed up with this. I'm tired of you telling me what you're going to do and you're not following through. I don't care if you didn't make a promise or not, but your word is everything. And how I feel is that's all you got. That's all you got is your word. Your word is like your credit score. And if your word ain't shit, your credit score ain't shit either. So that's exactly how I feel about that situation. Like, he would just make these plans with me, and he wouldn't even follow through with the plan. So I got very upset at him, and I was like, you know what? If you're not gonna spend time with me, then just say that. Or if you're not available and can't do it, just say that. But don't have me sitting up here waiting for you, and I'm expecting you to fall through, and my expectations are high to spend time with you. And his excuse was, hey baby, I have every intention of spending time with you, but I'm just at work right now. And it was just like a wake-up call. It was a light bulb that just turned on in my fucking head, and I was like, you know what, Margaret, you don't gotta put up with this shit. You don't have to put up with any of these excuses, because it's always something coincidental that happens. It's always an excuse as to why he can't be there. Now it's to the point where he is becoming unreliable. He allowed you to go missing for a week, and now it's just to the point where you ain't shit to him no more. Like, you are an inconvenience in his life. And if you were very convenient to him, he would be here. He would be making those plans with you. You know, just like in the beginning when he was spending all of that time with you, the first month and a half of y'all getting to know each other, he was like, oh, I can make a move for wherever I am. You know, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, if you was that much of an importance in his life, you would be that. And it was just like, you know what? Take some time and think about what it is that you really, really, really want and where you want to be at this point in time. And it's just like, I feel like I deserve a lot more. And I'm happy that it's Valentine's Day, because guess what? Like, it gave me the opportunity to say, you know what? He done allowed 2 weeks to go by without talking to me. Let that situation go. And you just continue to put yourself back in a position where you were happy without him, and that, you know, you did things that you wanted to do. Like, lo and behold, like, I'm still here, I'm still breathing, but the only difference is, like, I just dove deeper into work and deeper into school, just so I wouldn't have to think about that situation. And it's step back from dating again. This is like my 15,000 times from taking a step back from dating. It just puts me in a place to not want to be vulnerable with anybody. And I know I shouldn't be like that, but it's just like, I'm tired. I'm really tired of giving myself to people. And he was one of them people that I was just really tough with in the beginning. And he was very patient with that because he acted like he understood. And that's what drew me closer to him also. But at the same time, here he is acting like a jackass. So this year is all about self-promotion. And I have to continue to, you know, put myself first. And I made that a vow this year as my New Year's resolution, and I'm doing it for Valentine's Day. So if the dude wants to ever call, there is no coming back, because you allowed yourself to exit left, completely far left. And that is now your problem, because you lost the greatest thing ever. And I don't know what to tell you at this point, but I have been there. I have been supportive of your business. I have been supportive of things that you had lost that I had gave you. And it's just like, this is how you treat that person? Like, I am such this altruistic person that if I see you down in the dirt and you're going through some shit and you can't fix it yourself, I'm going to, you know, ask if I can insert myself and help you in any kind of way, because that's just the type of heart that I have. And I feel like he took advantage of a heart that was willing to give, and he didn't take advantage of the person who gave it to him. You get what I'm saying? So it's his loss, because he gave them all to me to help heal, to help me rebuild. Yes, she did. She gave it all to me. And I'm such a positive person, and I try to look for the good in everything. And I just take this as a blessing, because I just try to take this as a blessing because it's a way for me to, I guess you can say, improve myself, to say I can never take no BS from a guy who does not deserve me. So I'm just saying, ladies, for you ladies out there in the healthiest of relationships, bravo to you. I think I need to be like Sierra and just pray for a good man to come into my life and treat me right, treat me with respect, show me consistency, because those these days, they are not consistent at all. But to my ladies out there, I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Check out my products that was sent to me. I'm going to put them in the description box. Check out Serenity and Beauty's website. I'm pretty sure she has a lot more to offer, and she's uploading and promoting new things every day. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.